Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be giving you my Virgo April 2018 horoscope forecast. And yes, this does apply and pertain to the sun, moon, and ascendant. Anyway, people, first thing up is, as far as April goes, the sun will be in Aries from the 1st until the 19th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, there could be very strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention, perhaps into being very assertive, very aggressive, in showing a lot of initiative and enterprise in 8th house matters, such as in some cases the occult, astrology. It could be matters with transformation, making a major change in one's life. It could be on taking the lead in an intimate or sexual relationship Virgo may have. It could also be, remember that Aries energy can often be about combative and confrontational energy. So this could be a time where you might be putting more of that energy into confronting people that are connected with the 8th house, such as people that are like tax examiners, or even in some cases psychologists, or people that are in insurance, something connected with the 8th house, and even more quarrels perhaps with the sexual partner. So anyway, next thing up is, as far as April goes, the sun will be in Taurus from the 19th until the 30th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, this can be very strong concentration of energy, focus, and attention into a very deliberate, methodical, undeterred, and persistent higher learning. Could be at a college or university. This could be also about maybe also a lot of ponderous energy, really into ninth house matters in general. It could be regarding things connected with publishing, with in-laws. A lot of this concentration of energy and focus on in-laws and grandchildren, and being very loyal and steadfast in connection with them, and doing things with those people, perhaps with a lot of persistent, methodical, and deliberate, like Taurus, like energy, and a lot of latent energy, perhaps as well. And this could be a time where you may want to shine in ninth house matters, such as higher education, matters perhaps with publishing, things that are ninth house in general, things of a philosophical nature. So anyway, the next thing up is, the new moon will be in Aries on April 15th. So the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, it could be a time where Virgo might embark with on something 8th house, like with a lot of Aries, like initiative, enterprise, a lot of aggression and assertiveness. It could be on something connected with making a major change or transformation, or some kind of rebirth of some kind. Could also be a new sexual or intimate relationship Virgo may have. It could be with a sun, moon, or Aries ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies Aries-like characteristics. This could be a time too where Virgo may start maybe a new leadership position that's associated with the 8th house, such as something in maybe a psychology clinic, or could be something connected with the occult, supernatural, astrology, maybe starting one's own business in connection with one of those with an 8th house matter. It could also be, in some cases too, it could be the beginning of some kind of warfare with somebody. It could be somebody that you might have had an intimate relationship or sexual relationship with. It could be like psychological warfare, given it's the 8th house, or maybe or somebody that you may know that is connected with the occult, supernatural, and even astrology, tarot, something. It could be 8th house related. So anyway, Well, next thing up is the full moon will be in Scorpio on April 29th. So the third house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. At this time for Virgo, it could be a time where Virgo might become very exasperated, tired, and full, so to speak, at somebody maybe perhaps a very manipulative, sneaky, surreptitious sibling, or a neighbor perhaps, or somebody that Virgo knows well in their general daily communications and even short journeys. This could be a time too where there can be a culmination or completion of a Scorpio like writing, such as something connected with forensics or something with maybe something pertaining to death even, uh, maybe astrology, the occult, supernatural, magic, alchemy, something that could be Scorpio related. And also too about it, this could be a time too where you might be able to complete something. I mean, computers can be associated with the third house because it is connected with communication. So it could be a time where maybe some kind of conundrum or mystery connected with a computer comes to a conclusion or culmination. It could be where you troubleshooted a computer for a while and it was a very painstaking process and it comes to an end at this point, or maybe a missing computer, for example, or something connected with communications. Somebody in your daily communications might have disappeared for a while, or a neighbor, and that mystery may come to a head at this point. So anyway, next thing up is, well, Mercury will be in Aries, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted, and it'll be retro for about half the month. So anyway, this could be a time for Virgo where there could be a lot of more aggressive, combative communications connected with a sexual partner. It could be somebody you're in an intimate relationship with. It could be communications connected with power, really, where you're very forthright and outspoken about. And at the same time, this could be a time where you might be more mentally impatient regarding 8th house things. It could be matters connected perhaps with the astrology, the occult, supernatural. It could be an astrology report, for example, you've been waiting on and you become more impatient regarding it. And really, to remember, Mercury in Aries could be about really original and pioneering thinking. So you might have certain ideas, and maybe a number of them, because Mercury in Aries could be very impatient, and it could be connected with the 8th house. It might be matters connected maybe with taxes, with the astrology, the occult, supernatural, psychology, even something that could be 8th house related, things that are connected with making a major change or transformation. But remember that this could be very mentally impatient energy. You might have some ideas connected with making that major change or transformation, but it might be hard to follow through on them. But also keep in mind, being retro for about half the month, you'll have a little bit more review before thinking during that period. So anyway, next thing up, Venus will be in Taurus as far as April goes, from the 1st until the 24th. So the 9th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Virgo. So at this time for Virgo, this could be about very strong, perhaps love of money, peace and stability, and really that an enjoyment of peace and tranquility and creature comforts can be with in-laws, with grandchildren if applicable. Could be a very strong enjoyment of learning deliberately, perhaps through, say, in higher education, higher learning, I should say, in a deliberate fashion, and perhaps through things being demonstrated visually. You might find a Taurus sun, moon, or ascendant maybe by traveling abroad, or simply someone that embodies Taurus-like characteristics. And this could be a time too for very love of peaceful relationships with in-laws and grandchildren, and being very persistent and methodical in making money, which may lead to maybe publishing something, or that money may go to maybe in-laws, grandchildren. It could be toward higher education, or maybe making money just simply being in a foreign country. So anyway, Next thing up is Venus. As far as April goes, Venus will be in Gemini from the 24th until the 30th. So the 10th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, there can be perhaps in some cases, if Virgo is unattached, perhaps a love of two people simultaneously who might figure prominently in one's career. But given Gemini, that could be, the relationships can be somewhat superficial. Now, at the same time, this love, it could be a strong love of communication, and sometimes in some cases could be gossiping as well, especially if this is making a number of adverse aspects to points in your chart. Say if this is hitting, like making an adverse aspect to your natal your Mercury or something, so that is a possibility. This could also be about maybe making money connected with writing and speaking, and this could also be tied into one's notoriety and recognition. Now, and also this could also be about valuing certain things that are Gemini related, being able to use the hands, communication, being versatile, and really where it might factor into one's public image and reputation, and also valuing communications perhaps with the dominant parent, which is often the father, and people in position of authority. So anyway, next thing up is Mars will be in Capricorn, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So for Virgo, this could be about very strong, consistent, disciplined, serious energy in 5th house matters, such as hobbies, creative endeavors, things of enjoyment, and also things that are connected with children and a romantic relationship and love. Also, too, this could also be about where the situations with children and romantic partners might be a little bit more contentious and acrimonious than usual, and there could be some discord and arguments connected with responsibility. Could be arguments over, like you say, political debates or something connected with the government. And also, too, if this could be a time, too, where you might connect, if unattached, with a sexual partner that might be an older person and somebody that could be very orthodox and conventional, and might, in some cases, could be a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies Capricorn-like characteristics. So, anyway, too, and you might meet somebody, say, as far as a sexual partner, it could be at a 5th house type location, such as some kind of entertainment venue or something connected with the theater, perhaps, or a gambling casino. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Jupiter will be in Scorpio. In the 3rd house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. It will be retro during April as well. There could be certain luck and fortune, perhaps through making a major transformation connected with a vehicle. It could even be through recycling with neighbors. And also, too, this is about really Jupiter, remember, can be paradoxical, as I've stated in other videos. It's mainly, very strongly benign and benevolent, but it could also have a tendency to enlarge and expand. Could expand and enlarge perhaps surreptitious and sometimes even nefarious activity with one's neighbors and even siblings and even people that you may know in your day-to-day communications and short journeys. This could be too certain luck and fortune, fortuitous perhaps, for going beyond the subterfuge and superficial communications and really deciphering characters and motives of others that might be your neighbors, your siblings, even if applicable, and even people you see in your day-to-day communications. But remember, there can also, since it's going to be retro this month, there can be some review, perhaps about a profound or deep philosophy connected with communications in general, or maybe an outlook that's associated with siblings and maybe some neighbors that you may be close with. So anyway, the next thing up is Saturn will be in Capricorn, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, this could be a time where Virgo might experience certain limitations restrictions connected with love and romance, with children perhaps, even with their enjoyment in general, and it might make Virgo feel rather despondent and melancholy. It could also be a period where Virgo might be taking care of a child or romantic partner that might be rather sickly and debilitated as well. Even somebody that might figure prominently maybe in their enjoyment in life, or maybe somebody they're close with that shares a same hobby. Uh, Also, too, given that this is Saturn and you're talking about Capricorn in the fifth house, this could be a time too where really about looking at, I mean, you're talking about certain restrictions, and it might be something where, in some cases, it might be some government restriction of some kind, and or some kind of authority that gives some kind of restriction in some isolated cases, such as a probation or parole situation, which might feel like Virgo's enjoyment might be prohibited to some degree. Or the fifth house is also connected with gambling and speculation, so there might be something where Virgo feels that they're maybe even held up in that regard in some cases. So anyway, also remember that it's going to be in retrograde from the 17th until the 30th as far as April goes. So there could be some very serious review of responsibilities connected with the fifth house, such as love relationship, children. It could even be to their hobbies and interests, and even to their things connected with enjoyment. Anyway, next thing up is Uranus will be in Aries, so the 8th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, this could be a time where Virgo might experience some, perhaps some unusual, maybe an unorthodox, unconventional behavior connected with somebody that they're in a sexual or intimate relationship with. It could also be a time where maybe some kind of unexpected transformation is made, something that they didn't necessarily plan on, but they, for whatever reasons that happened, that they felt they needed to do it, and it wasn't really involving much planning. Also could be unusual activity connected with one's credit cards or matters pertaining to shared resources. You might, somebody you might be having a sexual or intimate relationship with might be showing some ingenious qualities, and the ones that could come very quickly and spontaneously, very abruptly, since we are talking about Aries as well. And you might be feeling at this time that your moral and emotional support that you're receiving is kind of erratic and sporadic and unpredictable. It may be coming and going. So anyway, next thing up is Neptune will be in Pisces, so the 7th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, well, there could be very strong dissipation and perhaps dissolving of relationships at this time for Virgo. I have actually Neptune in the 7th in my own natal chart, and I'm experiencing this constantly. It's really almost like a perpetual thing that goes on with me. But anyway, going back to Virgo, there could also be more difficulty in deciphering the character composition of others during this time and seeing the fine print and details in matters connected with documents as well, and really even seeing difficulty maybe in seeing who open adversaries are at this time. And it could be a time too, if Virgo is attached and connected with a significant other, that person might succumb to some kind of drugs or alcohol, or even in some isolated cases, accidental chemical assimilation. Or at the same time too, there could be for Virgo, there might be really something connected. If Virgo is interested in astrology or the metaphysical, there could be greater propensity for public speaking on it at this time. So anyway, well, the next thing up is Pluto will be in Capricorn, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So I know a lot of you don't want me to say this, but you know I'll say it anyway. The dreaded D word in death. Death. In some isolated cases, this could reflect perhaps a death of a child or a romantic partner, or even somebody that you have a lot of fun, amusement, and enjoyment with. There could be upheavals and power struggles as well connected with children and connected with a romantic partner or someone you're in a love or romantic relationship with. And also, too, in some cases too, to be careful, Virgo, in some isolated cases you may experience some obsessive or compulsive gambling thing going on at this time, especially, I mean, if you are somebody that does gamble, and of course a lot of this could depend on the aspects it's making to natal points in your chart. Say if this is making an adverse aspect to your natal Jupiter, for example, this could be something where you can have a very exaggerated, maybe perhaps distorted, gambling situation going on. So anyway, and remember, this could be, I mean, about general figurative deaths and obliterations, but remember that, I mean, this could be a time where where romantic or love relationship can come to an end, for example, but at the same time, or maybe things that you call enjoyment or hobbies or interests. But Pluto can often be about supplanting things, and when something leaves, Pluto can often supplant it because Pluto is about rebirth and regeneration. Anyway, next thing up is the North Node will be in Leo, so the 12th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted for Virgo. So at this time for Virgo, I mean, when you're talking about the North Node in transit, it can often be about issues we have to confront and address. So in this case, this could be about confronting perhaps somebody in your private life or personal life that could be rather arrogant, domineering, bombastic, and overbearing. In some cases, too, this could be about maybe confronting some fears as well. And those fears, I mean, could be Leo related, such as being actually gregarious, extroverted, showing generosity, being able to spend a little bit more at times, not being maybe as frugal as usual. And now in some isolated cases, I mean, this could be about having to confront some kind of mental illness that could be Leo related, which could be, for example, delusions of grandeur or grandiose delusions or what have you. Now, looking at this as well, this could be about too about taking pride and dignity in one's personal life and being able to weed out perhaps hidden adversaries, doing so with a lot of that Leo-like courage and fortitude. And at the same time too, that, I mean, there could be some Leo things that could lead to undoing, such as maybe spending, maybe not to be too extravagant, because that could lead to perhaps self-undoing at this time as well. So, and also, this is just really about maybe expressing more extroversion in one's private life. So, anyway. The next thing up is the Black Moon Lilith will be in Capricorn, so the 5th house is what will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, well, when the Black Moon Lilith, we're talking about that, it could often be manifest where something, it's about what may put you in a very strong state of fright or trepidation, and perhaps relinquishing authority over maybe a romantic partner or even a child in this case. Could put you in that state of trepidation. This could also be about a formidable adversary that might be revealed or unveiled. It could be somebody that is a Capricorn Sun, Moon, or Ascendant, or simply somebody that embodies Capricorn-like characteristics. Somebody that might actually be maybe somebody that a lover turns on you, or maybe a child, and even somebody that you might maybe had known through some kind of maybe gambling outlet in some cases, or a person that maybe you enjoyed some kind of hobby or shared hobbies with. So anyway, and also too, this could be a time too where somebody that could be 5th house related might come out and might really be expressing very ruthless, tyrannical, overambitious qualities at this time. It could be somebody that maybe you enjoyed certain things with. I mean, the fifth house is about our enjoyment. It could be over maybe somebody that you were in a love relationship with, or even a child in some cases. Now another thing about the Black Moon Lilith, it could sometimes be about something that becomes unveiled or revealed that you didn't necessarily want to come out, but it is unveiled anyway. In some cases, this could be maybe a restricting or depressing love life may come out at this time, and maybe where something about your enjoyment in general is just very limited and is putting you in a very strong state of despondency. So anyway, well, next thing up is Chiron will be in Pisces as far as April goes, from the 1st until the 16th. So the 7th house as well be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, well, there can be some emotional wounds and suffering connected perhaps with gullibility with others in general, or even a significant other, somebody you're in a business partnership with. It could be that you might be experiencing maybe some kind of deception and duplicity with these people as well. So it could be suffering connected with not seeing details in documents. Maybe a significant other, a marriage partner, a business partner even might be somewhat nebulous, or there's something unclear about them that is causing you really cause for concern, and you're going through suffering because of this. And even dealing with open adversaries, being overly passive in connection with them, and really as well, I mean, it could be confusing and confounding legal situations that are driving you I'm not literally, figuratively crazy, I should say. And even a significant other, or maybe somebody you're in a business partnership with, might become involved with drugs or alcohol, and it might be taking its toll on you. But remember that, keep in mind that, Chiron, and we were talking about Chiron energy, it's about the wounded healer. So in matters that you're going through suffering in connection with Chiron and Pisces in the 7th house, you could help, that you're having difficulty with, you could help others with perhaps that Pisces like self-sacrifice, compassion, and empathy. Last but not least, Chiron will be, excuse me, Chiron will be in Aries as far as April goes, from the 16th until the 30th. So the 8th house as well will be emphasized and highlighted. So at this time for Virgo, well, this could be about Virgo dealing with perhaps emotional wounds and suffering, perhaps due to lack of initiative and enterprise in matters connected with taxes, insurance, maybe not confronting somebody they're in an intimate relationship with, being overly passive. And sometimes it could be simply about being overly, maybe overly aggressive, or I should say combative and confrontational with someone they're in an intimate relationship or sexual relationship with, acrimonious experiences in general with them. It could be over arguments over perhaps taxes and things connected with insurance. And this could be too where there might be some suffering, emotional wounds going on with Virgo associated with maybe some kind of feelings of unworthiness, and it might be tied in to maybe not making that major change or transformation that Virgo wanted to do. Or it could be something that maybe they haven't been able to satisfy a sexual partner or someone they're in an intimate relationship with. So, but anyway, keep in mind too that, I mean, as I stated before with the Chiron and Pisces example, that, I mean, the Chiron is the wounded healer. So in any way that you might be going through some struggling in connection and emotional suffering connected with Chiron and Aries and the 8th house, you could help others with dealing with comparable situations, and do so with a lot of that Aries like courage, fortitude, outspokenness, and assertiveness. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment for my Virgo April 2018 horoscope forecast. Stay tuned next time where I'll be giving you my Libra April 2018 horoscope forecast. Two things I want to get with you on before I head out. Firstly, the stars may impel, but do not compel. And secondly, never isolate any single astrological element, aspect, planetary placement, position, configuration, influence, or what have you, and make an analysis of a person, astrologically speaking, based on this alone, because astrologically speaking, the person is the sum of all their components in their natal chart and not just one. Until next time, people, stay well.